red. It's just too red. But
If I'm gonna have to see him in his pants, which obviously we did have to see him in his pants. If I'm gonna have to change it up,
you want it in a mankini?
Mankini.
Yeah. The crowd were clearly ready
the
for
mega
this.
powers explode.
Boom!
Boom! I'm sick of carrying this person. And,
what, me?
What?
You carrying me?
No.
You just said you're sick of carrying this person, and then referred to me.
No, I didn't refer to you.
You upset me.
Hello, and a very warm welcome back to the Gimme a Whole Yeah Wrestling Podcast. Oh yeah. My name is Dom.
And I'm Ant.
And we are collectively known as Dom and Ant, because Dom, Ant. And we're doing WrestleMania 5.
WrestleMania 5 today.
Five times.
Did you enjoy this pay-per-view?
You loved it.
No, I didn't. I really didn't, no. It was the second pay-per-view to be held at Trump City. Trump Plaza in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Although Trump could have his own city.
Probably.
That'd be a hell of a city, wouldn't it?
Quite literally a hell of a city.
A hell of a city.
Indeed.
So to start off, we have the WWF Women's Champion, Rockin' Robin, singing the America the Beautiful. Wow.
Yeah, bless her.
No, don't bless her. Don't get wrestlers to sing the national anthem.
Yeah, but they were obviously a bit stuck, a bit, a bit short of massive celebrity talent. So Rockin' Robin had to do the job, and
she stepped up, and it sounded god awful. I think that's the worst one.
You try it. Go on. You try it.
I don't even know the words to it, man.
Just do the first line right now.
Oh, say, can you see by the elderly light? Is that right?
That's pretty good, right?
That was like Mean Gene at WrestleMania 1.
That's actually, to be fair, that's better than... It
was better than Rockin' Robin.
I was actually going to be like, oh, Rockin' Robin's better than you, but actually that was actually better.
Well, I've been warming up and ready to go. She could have done with warming up, I think. Yes,
I honestly feel like she was literally thrusting down.
Jesse Ventura said during it, he said she should stick to her day job, and I was like, oh man, yeah, even they know how bad it is. Yeah. It was bad. So we had Jesse Ventura and Gorilla Monsoon on commentary, the best commentary team, apart from maybe Heenan and Monsoon. I quite like Lawler.
We're talking all the time.
Oh, I don't know, man. I think they had moments.
I give it. I don't know. They had moments. Yeah, they had good solid moments. I like Graves and Cole.
Oh, Corey Graves is great. Corey Graves is great. Yeah.
Good. I mean, they don't have two anymore, do they? They have more than two.
They have more than two generally. Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
To keep things interesting, I think. To keep things, to save it from being samey.
How long have they had like two commentators? How long was it? It's till at least the late.
Well, they had Lawler and Ross as a team for ages, didn't they?
Yeah, and then Lawler and Cole were a team for a while.
Right.
I don't know. Could someone tell us like who? Yeah, when that kind of four team.
Three or four
team commentary teams came into effect and when that started happening, and if anybody knows why, that'd be nice to know. Thank you.
If you're enjoying the podcast so far, please hit that like button, hit subscribe, and watch our videos. We've got a lot of past videos now that we've done, so hit it up.
Yeah, and we need the love.
We need some love, man. We need some love.
We need some love from you guys.
Also on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Patreon. Just search for Gimme a Whole Yeah, and we'll be there. Tumblr, I believe you set up as well.
Yeah, Tumblr. So we can store all our stuff.
Our t-shirts are also available for sale on Redbubble now. So if you'd like to choose your design of t-shirts, you can head there.
Yeah, you can have
a dress,
bags, a dress.
Great.
You could have a Gimme a Whole Yeah dress if you wanted. You could have a cap.
Cool.
And that'll all go to supporting us. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this podcast. We will do our best to make that happen for you. And if not, if you don't enjoy it, then
tough. So first up we had King Haku with Bobby the Brain Heenan versus Hercules. For a little bit of up-to-date information, Heenan passed away last week, which was a really sad moment actually. I've been catching up on a lot of Heenan stuff, and Heenan had a massive presence at this WrestleMania.
Massive. No, I mean obviously such a legacy, like such an incredible. I'm just kind of. Not laughing at the death, but laughing at Heenan's just some of his great moments. You know what I mean? And him flailing around the ring whenever they got him into a pair of tights.
He did. He took bumps at this WrestleMania.
Yeah, just a funny but incredibly great mind for the business.
Oh, he was.
And so Gimme a Whole Yeah would like to extend our condolences and support
to everyone that knew him.
To Bobby Heenan's family and friends.
Yeah, he was a real legend. And going back and watching all this stuff, it's clear to see how much of a integral role he was in developing wrestlers' careers. When you put Bobby Heenan with a guy, there was automatically a heel, and that's part of how they was using managers at this point.
Yeah.
So really sad news on that, but it's great that his stuff still lives on through the network and through all the interviews that he's done and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure we'll be talking about him a lot in today's
he's a huge
episode.
part of this time in our podcast.
Yeah.
And, a huge part of what we're trying, of our content. So, I think a lot of people owe a lot to Bobby Heenan. If you can see his presence in Paul Heyman and the way that Heyman is and that kind of thing. So his legacy is incredible.
Still felt today, yeah. So King Haku was Heenan versus Hercules. Donald Trump was in the audience again, front row. Hated that. I think get some real wrestling fans who actually feel passion for the show. I thought the whole show felt like it almost felt like there was waiting for the one match at the end
and
again.
Didn't he leave?
At one point he disappeared.
You noticed he wasn't there for a while.
In the match there was a nice backbreaker from Haku where he held the move on Hercules, so he did the backbreaker and sort of held it in position. That was a really nice move. I've not seen that, I don't think. Like backbreakers, you tend to, it goes and then they fall off, whereas this was like back and his whole body was contorted over him. It looked really good. And then Hercules got the nice body drop for the pin. Not a bad match, some tidy moves in it, just nothing
decent enough. Not a
lot of story.
Not that special.
With it, I suppose.
I was, Hercules had a brief push at this time. And,
he did,
and that was part of it. And it was nice to see, but never really, as we've discussed.
I don't think Haku was an amazing heel, and I don't think.
I think Haku.
He was an incredible talent, but I don't think he was an amazing heel.
But Hercules, I'm pleased that he was able to pick up a victory here.
So Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty next had a promo and kept referring themselves to Grease Lightning. There was a lot of Grease references in there and stuff like that.
Yeah, a little bit weird, but
yeah, I mean, so the match that we had coming up was Akeem and Bossman with Slick, who was known as the Twin Towers, versus the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. I thought this was really weird because first of all, this was the second match on the card. And Bossman and Akeem had been such a dominant force. Like, not long before this, we was watching them against... there was the main threat, really, to Macho and Hulk Hogan when there was... So to go from that to what seemed like not a massive match... Did you feel that?
Yeah, it wasn't that exciting. I mean, it was nice, the power of the Twin Towers, which is obviously massive... literally for them and a big angle for their dominance that came through.
In terms of where they ended up, but at this time the Rockers weren't anything special.
I mean, the Rockers had that underdog thing, so people were starting to root for them.
Yeah. I just thought it was a bit strange to see them two, Big Boss Man and Akeem, who had been main event players in a lot of the pay-per-views we've watched, to then be in second on not a very big match. It wasn't for a title or anything. I mean, they could have held the tag team titles and been a really good tag team, actually. Yeah. And I think that certainly would have helped Akeem. I think Bossman had more success later on anyway. But... So the Rockers had the early lead in the match. There was a really nice drop kick from Shawn Michaels onto Bossman. The Rockers were working over Akeem and working over his arm a lot, so that was the story of the match. Jannetty spent a long time in the ring getting beat up by Bossman. That was good. I always appreciate someone that can sell anyone, and Jannetty did a great job of that. Akeem falls onto Bossman on the apron, giving the Rockers the advantage again, and then there was a lot of nice double team from the Rockers. So that was one of the things that was nice about the Rockers. They were starting to, I don't think they were starting, because of the work that they'd done with each other previously, they'd really developed a really strong sort of bond, and look good together. So whilst Bossman holds Michaels in a powerbomb position, Jannetty gets behind him and he falls over. And then when Michaels jumps off the top rope, Bossman slams him, which his slam looked devastating at the time.
That Bossman slam.
Really good.
Brilliant.
Really good. And then Akeem got the tag, so we get to see Akeem do his finisher, which was a big splash, ending in the pin. Not a bad match, just I think it was sad to see the Twin Towers was a sort of after being from the main event scene to suddenly pushed to a match which didn't really mean anything.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, short of elevating the Rockers, which I feel like it might have.
Yeah, and maybe without this happening, the Rockers wouldn't have been elevated as much as well. So, you know, pluses and minuses, I suppose. You know, you can't really say it either way.
Yeah.
So next up, we had an interview with Dibiase showing how confident he was. Shows Donald Trump his $1 million belt as he comes to the ring. That was nice.
Yeah, they keep talking about Donald Trump, and it's annoying.
Mm.
It was annoying then as it is now when people are always talking about him.
Well, it was just advertising, wasn't it? He was the
big orange muppet.
Yeah. So yeah. We also started to see here Dibiase treating Virgil like dirt as well. So there was one point where Virgil went to step in the ring and Ted DiBiase had said, "No, you wait until I get in the ring," type thing and stuff like that, which plays out in a storyline that sort of comes up in the near future or distant past.
Well, Virgil's one and only big push in the company.
Absolutely, yeah. So the match was Brutus the Barber Beefcake versus Ted DiBiase. Yeah. Brutus. Oh, sorry, go on.
Just saying, it wasn't probably my least favourite of the pay per view.
I thought it was pretty
uninteresting. I thought Brutus looked pretty strong. I think
he was too cartoony for me at this point. I think a lot of the actual match card of WrestleMania 5 was very cartoony. This is when they were really pushing into the cartoony era. And it was only sort of Macho Man and Savage that held that sort of realism, I suppose. It wasn't realism, it's wrestling, but that's fine, you know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's, you know, it was heavily animated, but like I say, it was at a time when that was okay.
Yeah.
I thought Brutus was an over-the-top character. The scissors were kind of ridiculous. All that stuff was kind of ridiculous, but he looked powerful. And kids, you know, it was heavily marketed at this time.
It was, yeah.
Wrestling now is not marketed predominantly, I don't think. I'd be interested to look at the research, but there's a nice split between young people
and older people.
You know, you got your John Cena's, but then of course you're also appealing to the middle and older crowds now. Even, you know, there's something to appeal to an older generation,
like
now.
Bray Wyatt.
Whereas you know, that wasn't the case this time. I feel like it was heavily marketed towards parents and their kids.
Yeah, it was.
You know,
it was
not. You know, these days it's students, it's young people, it's people that, you know, of all incomes and backgrounds. Whereas this time you got well-off parents, families with kids, and you got colourful characters that are meant to sell merchandise, like a Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Yeah. Although I'd be interested to see what them, you know, did they have like blow-up scissors or something?
Yeah, I've not seen any blow-up scissors. They had, I mean, you in the crowd you'd always have the Hacksaw Jim Duggan's 2 before foam.
Yeah,
film things, which we'll get into later on.
Before.
Well, one of the nice things Brutus did come down to the ring with is he come down with a pair of hedge trimmers, but there was in like a barbershop bag, so it was like do you know one of them red and blue and white stripy sort of bags? That looked really neat, man. That looked like a barbershop sign. I actually quite want one of them bags. So to start off with, the action was really fast in the ring, but that didn't last. With DiBiase constantly going out of the ring, which then slowed the match down way too much.
Yeah.
With all the breaks in the match, if you took all them out, it probably would have been a really good match.
Yeah.
But it just slowed it down too much, and if you do that too much, it starts to get the back. Unless people are really invested. An example of that would be like Macho Man when he did it. Because people were really invested. Or Kevin Owens in the recent Goldberg match. Do you know where he'd constantly go out of the ring? And that's great character work. And because it's such an anticipated match, if it's not as anticipated, it just becomes slow and annoying. Yeah. Ted DiBiase, he always found the right spot to be in the match. I think because obviously he was a heel, he always got beat up. He'd always be in the right position to take the next move, which I really appreciate stuff like that. It's great. So Brutus gets a sleeper on DiBiase, but Virgil distracts, leading to a weak axe hammer from DiBiase and a really forced part where he throws himself over the rope with absolutely no momentum, which just looked weird. Good work. Beefcake goes after Virgil and ends up with him and DiBiase for the double count out. Weak finish, weak storyline finish, I suppose. Brutus goes after Virgil to get the sleeper in the ring, but Dibiase breaks up. Yeah, Brutus goes for his shears, but Dibiase gets out of the ring. You couldn't use the shears on Virgil. All pointless.
There was a lot of those little stabs at Virgil's. In fact, you couldn't use those shears on Virgil, which was pretty funny. Jesse.
It was just a really weak match from two awesome performers, really. I'd say.
Yep.
We then go into a shot of Alfred Hayes at a brunch with Luke eating food, one of the bushwhackers.
A nice little plug for the bushwhackers.
You love your bushwhackers.
I'm gonna do it again.
Oh man.
I'm gonna make that a habit, no matter what.
That one in my forehead. That was just my ear.
No matter even if they're not in the pay-per-view, I'm still gonna do it. Me and you are like the real life bushwhackers.
You're the bushwhacker. We're the bushwhacker. I'll be Rick Rude. I'm not a bushwhacker.
I whack all the bush. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, I love the bushwhackers. Lovely, and me, and and you're like my brother.
Yeah.
We've got that.
That makes you want to lick my ear.
It makes me want to lick your forehead and your ear.
Okay.
And I'll do it.
And next time, go for my forehead, not my ear. But we'll save that for next time.
I'll give you. Yeah. Sorry, man. I got your. Is it, what do you call that? A wet willy?
I believe so. Yeah. It was just weird, man. I mean, I'm not bothered, but you've got earwax on your tongue now, which. Delightful.
Tasted worse.
Delightful.
Delightful.
So we haven't seen Alfred Hayes at the pay-per-view for a while. This is the first time.
He freaks me out, man.
Yeah,
he's like your weird kind of uncle, granddad type dude.
He felt so out of place, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
For me, anyway.
Yeah, he's not a funny dude.
No,
he's not a funny dude. I think they wanted him to be funnier and more impactful than he ever was.
Well, they had Luke eating and Butch eating, so they were trying to interview him and they couldn't understand the word they were saying. Again, we're moving into this cartoon era that's sort of a bit weird. Didn't understand the word they were saying.
Nope.
Bit pointless, really.
Yep.
Yeah, this is what I mean. This pay-per-view was actually quite difficult to watch most of the time. It was just really lame. The Rougeau brothers with Jimmy Hart versus the Bushwhackers was next.
Do the thing.
You want to...
I love them so much.
I'll be a Rougeau brother.
They're on the 2K18, man.
The Bushwhackers are,
yeah. I can't wait.
Yeah, they've been in the last few. People complain about stuff like that because they're like, oh, nobody, who's going to play as Typhoon and the Bushwhackers? And I'm like, yeah, I'm that man. Yeah. I'm the one that.
We're gonna do a classic series, I think. In 2K18.
Hell yeah, man! Like Earthquake versus Typhoon would be awesome and stuff like that.
And the Bushwhackers just having a battle of the Bushwhackers.
Hell yeah, that sounds. Oh yeah, sounds good to me. So the Rougeau brothers with Jimmy Hart versus Bushwhackers. The Rougeaus had the All American Boy theme song now, which is quite a funny gimmick for them, I suppose. The Bushwhackers steal Jimmy Hart's jacket, eventually leading to the Rougeaus sandwiching him from a whip by Luke and Butch, which Jimmy Hart taking a bump there. Blup. And Jimmy Hart was always funny, wasn't he?
Bless him.
In the ring. Always funny in the ring.
With his megaphone.
So Luke and Butch with their... Was it their finishing move? The battering ram?
No, the battering ram, but they didn't use that as a finisher. They used this odd... It actually would have hurt, like, if it was a real life thing. This kind of lifting front breaker.
Oh, that was the finisher.
The front back breaker.
Ah, right, okay.
They lift him up and then they put him down on the knees.
Okay.
Which doesn't look as cool as the battering ram.
Well,
I don't care what anyone says.
Here he goes.
A head to the gut. Some dude running some other dude's head. Into
but you can't get the momentum of someone when you're trying to carry him anyway. It's wrestling. It's not real. It's fine.
It's real to me, damn it.
The crowd felt dead all the way through the night at this point. No interest in the wrestling, I thought. It was a weird vibe in the crowd. There was a sloppy double team move at the end by the Bushwhackers, which ended up, I think that was the dropping onto both knees, the backdrop with the... But the Rougeau, I don't think he took it... I couldn't tell you which one it was, I never can. I don't think he took it right. I think it was twisted as he fell down, and it just looked really... weird, a bit like most of Sasha Banks' moves when she's like just. Do you know when you watch Sasha? I watch Sasha Banks and I go, yeah, that just looked like a botch as opposed to. I like Sasha Banks.
I think her character work is very strong.
Sometimes her wrestling is.
You're comparing Sasha Banks to a Rougeau.
Yes, I am.
I'm not sure about that one, man. I definitely prefer to watch Sasha Banks' matches and moves purely because I think she's a better performer.
Okay, cool.
But
no, I think she's great. I do think she's great. What I'm saying is, do you remember that whole run she had with Charlotte Flair? And there was just like a few botches in them matches, like the Hell in a Cell match where the table didn't go. And it just all looked a bit awkward, didn't it?
Yeah.
So next match we had Mr. Perfect versus the Blue Blazer. There was a lot of matches on this card.
You picked up. You know, I mean, the crowd was still bored to tears, but I thought the action picked up. You know, I liked Blazer as the underdog. I mean, I liked Mr. Perfect. That perfect plex to end was really cool. It was actually the debut of his singlet.
His green attire, and it made him stand out a lot more, didn't it?
It was like fluorescent, bloody yellow or green or something. So, you're gonna stand out. But yeah, I mean, it was a nice showcase for Owen Hart, Blue Blazer.
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
It was pretty high flying the whole time. There was a nice little moment where Blazer actually seemed to hype the crowd. There was a near fall with a crucifix, which was good. I think people got into that. Yeah. And then the perfect plex, which is a simple bridge, but it became an iconic move. It was a simple bridging fisherman suplex, but it became quite iconic.
It certainly did. I thought it was an okay match. I thought it was one of the better matches on the card, certainly. I thought Blue Blazer certainly came off really good. Perfect let him do a lot of work in the ring, which was really nice.
Yeah. It was good. And then you got...
It's quite good, yeah.
Yeah. Jesse the Body in the crowd.
Yeah, so Jesse Ventura's announced to give the crowd away. So again, this sort of emphasises how big Jesse Ventura had come as a personality. Obviously, the Running Man he'd filmed, Predator had been filmed by this point, so he was a legitimate star, I suppose. And with him being the commentator, they'd get him to stand up and give the crowd a wave, which was great.
It was good. You got Fuji on a 5k run.
Yeah, what the hell was that about, man?
Kind of ridiculous. This whole part of the pay-per-view was kind of weird, man. So Fuji done 5k. Commentary from Alfred Hayes.
Yeah, don't hype it up.
Fuji was there to hype the Powers of Pain. But yeah, it was weird. It was a weird one, that.
Yeah, it was weird. You had Fuji in his sort of suit and hat, and I think it was to show him, because he was in the next match. It was a handicap match against Demolition, obviously with Fuji's past managerial experience where he was managing them before moving to the Powers of Pain. So it was proving how good shape he was in, but it sort of didn't. It was just a bit pointless.
It's kind of silly. And then even more awkward and weird was Run DMC.
I
respect a lot of Run DMC. I liked it.
I'm not a massive Run DMC fan in general. The WrestleMania rap.
Oh man, that whole thing, like it wasn't the crowd for it. It wasn't the time for it, and no one got it. I respect anybody that can stand up in front of, whether it's Rockin' Robin or otherwise, anybody that could stand up in front of that many people and do that. That's cool, but.
Yeah, well, Donald Trump was tapping both of his knees, so he might have...
He was tapping both of his knees.
I noticed, I made a note of it, man. If I notice Donald Trump doing something, I make a note.
He's trying to look cool, like
he gives a damn.
He gets it. You don't get it.
You don't get it.
Donald Trump don't get that.
So the rap was just them saying WrestleMania a lot, wasn't it? WrestleMania. WrestleMania. Do you want to do a rap?
When I say wrestle,
you say WrestleMania.
When I say wrestle, you say mania. Wrestle.
Mania.
Wrestle.
Mania.
When I say wrestle, you say mania.
Mania.
Wrestle.
Mania. We should be Run DMC.
Run.
What are we wasting?
Run
DNA.
Run DNA. We should do a rap now every podcast.
Okay.
We should try.
WrestleMania.
Wrestle.
Mania.
Wrestle.
Mania. Okay.
Demolition, Powers of Pain and Fuji.
Yes. You what? What did you say?
I was moving on.
Alright, cool. So the video package.
We got stuff to get through. Trying to keep it clean. Yeah.
The video package of the Powers of Pain and Demolition, starting off with Survivor Series and Fuji's betrayal, which was a good story that played out in that Survivor Series match. We see a fight from them in February where Fuji shows salt in the eyes of Demolition, so that again is reference to something that happens later in the match. And it's a handicap match, 3 versus 2 for the tag team championship. Warlord and Barbarian, who were the Powers of Pain, with Mr. Fuji versus Demolition. Here comes the air. Fucking disaster. I love it, man. I love that theme tune. I really want them to be in a 2K. I'd play them all the time just to hear that theme tune. Can you imagine them versus like
I'm sure they're
Bobby
in it.
Roode?
I'm sure they're in it.
Oh, they're
somewhere.
not. No, they've still got a concussion lawsuit going against WWF, so they're not gonna. We ain't gonna see them in for a while. I don't think. So Axe and Smash have quick tags at the start to get advantage. The crowd were absolutely dead, which was sad because there's a lot of story going into this match, I thought.
Yeah.
Axe tries to go for Fuji, but Barbarian stops him. Fuji comes in when Axe is down. There was a top rope attack from Fuji, which misses Axe. Mm-hmm. Nice to see Fuji in the ring again. We haven't really covered much of his stuff where he was in the ring, but because that was sort of pre-WrestleMania 1 when he was in a tag team with the bloke from Running Man, which Professor Tonga, something like that, I think it was.
Something along those lines,
something along that. So
he was
the
a beast too.
Oh, he was, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Especially in Running Man, man. We went to see Running Man the other week in Hull, and it was awesome. Yeah. We had a great night, didn't we?
Yeah, it was awesome.
So Fuji goes to attack Smash with Assault. So again, this is why the Assault is referenced in the video package earlier on. But he moves out the way to hit Barbarian instead, and then Axe and Smash do a double team on Fuji to get the pin. Nice to see Fuji take the pin because it's all sort of entwined, isn't it? That's the story. It was an interesting story with Fuji being in the ring. The only problem is it didn't help the Powers of Pain at all because all the focus was on Fuji. Nobody cared about Powers of Pain, and so they feel weaker straight away.
It was pretty odd, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Fuji took the pin, and it just didn't really work out too well, did it?
No. So next up we have somebody trying to get an interview with Macho Man Randy Savage backstage, but he's refusing to talk to people, locks himself in his dressing room.
Which is good, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that whole,
Well, it's the whole thing of he's ready to explode, and this is the exploding of the Mega Powers, and that's sort of the exciting thing of the pay-per-view, I suppose, and the build-up to the pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. Next up we had rugged Ronnie Garvin versus Dena Brava, and then Jimmy Superfly Snuka came into the ring. Yeah. As a special guest. I don't know what he was a special guest of.
People loved it, it was more, I think it was more for fan pops and fan interaction.
Yeah, but why did they get him to come out after the others had got in the ring? I don't get it. I don't get what he didn't do anything in the match. He wasn't a referee, I didn't even see him at ringside, he just sort of came out.
Yeah, it was odd.
Yeah, very odd. Both very slow in the ring, these two. Gorilla said at one point the fans were in awe, and I thought that's why they're so quiet. That's what he said, and I was like, they're just bored, man.
Yeah, you can't fake that. The Dino Bravo's being billed as the world's strongest man at this point.
Yeah, well, he's obviously had the bench press lifting at the Royal Rumble not long back. Yeah, just crappy match. No one really enjoys it. There was a side suplex win for Brava, and then Garvin attacks Frenchie quite viciously, I thought, dropping his foot in his face. Nearly a bloody curb stomp. Yeah. I was like, wow. Yeah, wow, Frenchie took a bump.
For that time, it's,
But that was the best part of a really rubbish match, which is pretty sad. Yeah, not a good WrestleMania so far, is it? It was hard to watch.
That was weak, very weak.
So next up we had two really tough dudes. We had Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard, the Brainbusters. A lot of respect for these guys, man.
Absolutely. Classic performers.
Again, I don't remember them from my past, but they were brilliant in the ring, especially watching them in the Royal Rumble. And they were against Strikeforce, which was Rick Martel and Tito Santana. This was one of the better matches. It had one of the better angles in the card as well.
The debut on, rather not the debut, but the first emergence of the model Rick Martel. Yeah,
which was probably actually, it should be more about Strikeforce breaking up, but actually, in hindsight, it's more about Rick Martel finally becoming the model. Did you know this nearly didn't happen?
Visa problems.
With Rick Martel, so Rick Martel nearly didn't make it to WrestleMania. Yeah, and that would have impacted his career so much because the model was like the biggest part of his career, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Great pace at the start of the match. The Brainbusters get a double drop kick. Yeah. Then it went into a couple of rest holds, which I don't like rest holds normally, but again, it looked like they were fighting. So Any rest hold that looks like you're fighting, fine. Tito and Martel both get figure fours on the Brainbuster. That reminded me of the Revival and DIY matches.
Yeah.
You know, and they were both ready to tap out. It was great. Tito accidentally elbows Martel. So this is sort of where the
build of the frustration
comes in, yeah. Tito stays in the ring for a bit with Martel selling the injury that he's received from Tito. Again, a nice throw over the top rope onto Anderson. Really nice. Martel won't tag Tito when he goes for the tag, and he ends up walking off and leaves Tito to get destroyed in the ring. Great. The beginning of the model.
It's something that's played out as well, repeated quite a lot through history. That kind of leaving your partner, starting anew, fresh.
Yeah.
As a heel, whatever. So,
but also the Brainbusters carried on to kick the crap out of Tito.
Yeah.
A nice pile driver ended the match. I love a pile driver. What's more devastating than a pile driver? It's great, man.
Frightening to watch, but yeah.
Yeah, because what it was a spike pile driver as well. So they jumped off the top rope, and like, what's more devastating than a pile driver than someone pushing you into it? It looked great, man.
Yeah.
Good match, good technical wrestling, great story.
Yep.
Great match.
Massive fun.
Then there was an interview with Rick Martel, who's furious with Tito and sick of carrying him. So we're starting to see the heel.
Yeah, standard heel.
Yeah, great.
You know, for that time, but yeah, it's again something that's played out quite a lot.
Yeah.
Over history, and it's brilliant. It's always done really well. You know, I'm sick of carrying this person. And
what, me?
What?
You're carrying me?
No.
You just said you're sick of carrying this person, and then referred to me.
No, I didn't refer to you.
You upset me.
Don't be a muppet. I'm talking about the fact that a lot of the times it's used, isn't it?
Of course it is, yeah. Over and over
Kevin
again.
Owens, Sami Zayn, stuff like that. It's the same. You walk out on your partner and it starts.
But it works.
Monumental feud. Yeah.
It works.
Yeah, this was the next thing was the Piper's Pit, which was long, man. It was really long.
It was long.
Like, it was funny.
Yeah, I feel like WrestleMania 5 probably needed it because it was so lacking on action. Apart from the last match, everything else has been sort of a bit blah. So Piper's Pit, a special attraction. So Roddy Piper was coming back to the WWF. He'd been out of the ring for 2 years, I believe, roughly.
Yeah. It was supposed to be a one-time deal as well.
It was, yeah. Yeah, it was only supposed to be a one-time deal, but obviously people think of this as the start of his second run, but actually it wasn't supposed to be.
Yep.
So we get the music for Roddy Piper, and instead of Roddy Piper coming out, Brother Love comes out.
Yep. In his
I love you.
Oh God.
Yeah. it was funny. I thought he did a great impression. He got in the ring and he had like an interview with Roddy Piper, but he was being Roddy Piper. I thought he did a really good impression actually of Roddy Piper. So he was out in his kill, interviewed himself. Special guest Morton Downey.
Yeah, Morton Downey Jr.
Yeah, some actor.
He was an egotistical.
Yeah.
Weird.
I don't really see the point in it.
He was there to antagonise Piper.
Absolutely, but why not get a wrestler in there? But I suppose it was just supposed to be a one-off, so they didn't want to start something. And
just a nice moment where I just remembered in my notes that Roddy Piper's like, if you do this, I'm going to bite your face off.
Yeah.
When he goes for the kilt, when
Roddy Piper was great. It was always great, and especially at promos. So Roddy Piper eventually makes his way to the ring. Morton Downey was just smoking in the ring, which was a bit weird, then starts throwing cigarettes at Brother Love and Roddy Piper, which is not the type of behaviour you do. No. That's what a weird man.
Yeah, not the...
Can you imagine being sat in a bar and someone just starts throwing cigarettes at you?
Yeah, and I think that was the point. It was, just all about antagonising Piper. Like I said,
So
Brother Love starts trying to look up his skirt, and he's like, and Piper's like, I'll bite your face off if you do that, and stuff like that. And then obviously he's looking at it, and that stare down between Morton Downey Jr. and Piper was really good.
It was
really
good,
intense.
Yes.
One of my highlights, I guess, of this pay-per-view.
Yeah, in not a very good pay-per-view.
Questioning Brother Love's Scottish heritage and all that, and then rips off the kill. He runs out.
I wish when the reveal of Brother Love's pants, there'd been better pants. I wanted to see some like Love Heart pants or something, something. Yeah, something nasty. Yeah, that would have been.
I'm sure
funnier.
that's been done since.
I'm sure it was in the Attitude Era, but no thongs for Brother Love today.
No.
Would you have liked to have seen Brother Love in a thong?
No.
No comment.
Well, no, he's a bit too red, man.
A bit too red. Right.
Red. He's a red dude.
You don't like your boys red.
Well, if I'm gonna analyse as a journalist, and as a podcast host, if I'm gonna analyse, he's just too red.
He's just too red. He's just too red.
If I'm gonna have to see him in his pants, which obviously we did have to see him in his pants. If I'm gonna have to change it up,
you want it in a mankini.
Mankini, yeah.
That'd have been good.
Or one of them. What do you call? Is it the mankinis with the monkey? You can have like a monkey on there or something.
I've never heard of these things.
I'm
not into this world like you are.
What do you call them? I don't know, but they're like pouches.
All right,
you can have like monkey faces or whatever. I
think if I was to have one, it'd have to be an elephant. Yeah, for reasons why.
Wow, yeah. So a giraffe.
A giraffe. A giraffe.
It's long and thin. I don't know.
Oh, like a giraffe that swallowed a Viagra. Very stiff neck. Cool. So
moving on.
Well, yeah. So he threw the cigarettes in his face, kept doing it, and then he got the fire extinguisher out, blew it over him. It was a really long segment.
Yeah,
it was watchable.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
It's just WrestleMania. It shouldn't be just about that, should it? If it's going to be a segment like that, it needs to happen quite quickly.
Yeah.
For me, they always annoy me. The Rock at 33 was it where he did? It was a bit long for me.
Yeah, totally.
Followed by the squash match. Yeah. So then we see the trailer for No Holds Barred. So Hogan's been away, film No Holds Barred. That's playing into the pay-per-views that are coming up as well in the future. Yeah, it looked like a trailer for a Toxic Avenger movie. Probably not as good as the Toxic Avenger movie. Have you ever seen No Holds Barred?
No, but I've seen Toxic Avenger and I've seen
I've
seen No Holds Barred. Yeah, I've seen No Holds Barred.
Is it awful?
Yeah, I'd watch it.
I think
we should do a review of it on the podcast.
Man,
actually.
That's a good idea, dude. That's a good idea. There was an interview then with Donald Trump, which was absolutely boring. No threat of his hair being lost at this WrestleMania.
Nope.
No threat of his hair being lost at any WrestleMania, I suppose.
Well, no.
Jesse was angry at Hogan for entering Hollywood, which is Jesse's domain. Then we had a video package for the Mega Powers showing how Hogan had helped Macho at WrestleMania 4. Nice little video package. Then it showed the SummerSlam match and the Survivor Series. Then Superstars all showing Hulk and Macho helping each other. We see the main event match where Hulk carried away Elizabeth as Macho Man landed on her, so that was sort of big to the angle. Then we saw the two attacking each other backstage. That was when there was Elizabeth looked like she was in the medical room. Would you say something like that? Then we had an interview with Hulk talking about how 1 year has made a massive difference. The 3 commandments, the training, the prayers, the vitamins, the yeah. Hulk Hogan promo. Brother. Macho's jealous of Hulkamania and put Elizabeth between them is Hulk's angle on this. Yep. And even Donald Trump has questions in his own mind. Donald Trump, don't worry about my Hulkamaniacs. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's Macho, that's not Hulk.
Well,
excellent.
Still, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit weird putting the promo here. I actually wanted to see it later on. I don't want to see it before a completely different match, but it was too much for that. Next up, we have special guest referee, the winner of Royal Rumble 1989, Big John Studd.
What's with the Cockney accent?
I don't know, man.
Big John Studd.
Big John Studd.
Smart.
Winning the second Rumble, good for him.
Yeah.
Should have been someone else. Andre the Giant with Bobby the Brain Heenan. Again, Heenan, awesome.
Yep.
Versus Jake the Snake. So this was a match that had been building up during the Royal Rumble when Jake had entered in with the Snake and Andre had eliminated himself. So John Studd was there to sort of be the eliminating, the neutralising factor with Andre. I thought it was a bit sloppy, the storytelling in this match, actually, but...
Well, given there'd been so much build to it as well.
Yeah.
It wasn't done the way it should have been.
No. So John Studd and Andre start arguing as soon as he gets into the ring, which again sort of shows a bias towards the referee, which I'm never keen on. My iPad's just gone flat.
Oh. Well, it'll be fine because we've got some.
You carry on. You tell us about this match.
Yeah, basically, it was one of those things where Andre's controlling the match for a long period of time, and like it's okay. It's kind of a squash in a lot of ways. There's a nice point where he gets caught up in the ropes. Andre gets caught up there, and then Jake kind of gets some shots in,
which was always his sort of move, wasn't it?
Which was cool. $1 Million Man comes down, tries to steal with Virgil. Virgil's there. Tries to steal Damien. Yeah. Basically all of his time, while that's happening, Andre the Giant is trying to attack he's trying to choke out Big John Studd, and he gets disqualified.
Yeah, but why did Big John Studd get involved like that?
Yeah, again, I think they were just trying to put him in there. To be honest, I have no idea why he was part of the feud.
Well, I know that Andre was ill at the time, and we've talked about this a few times, and it's like I said, I think the reason he was put in a feud with Jake was to keep it more about story as opposed to actual matches. Yeah. But it's such a shame when you've got someone like Jake almost wasting his time. Is he wasting his time, or does this help his career? I don't know.
I don't know. This was a massive feud for him, but it shouldn't have ended that way.
No.
You got Sensational Sherry with a brilliant heel promo. She was fantastic, just saying that she was the queen of the division at the time, and she was ripping into
Rockin'
Robin and her performance, which was really well done, a really great little heel promo.
Sherry was great, man.
Yeah,
Sherry was great.
Sherry's got a lot going on for her. A massive fan of her work at this point and later on as well.
Did you like her makeup?
Yes.
God, it made you so angry, didn't it?
Well, I've been quite a big fan of Sherry for a while. So
cool.
I'll let her go.
Did you watch much of her WCW stuff?
No, I didn't. No, but I should.
You need to check that out at some point.
She had a quirkiness about her that I liked.
Yeah.
As a manager. Okay, so next up we got the Hart Foundation, Bret Hart, Jim Neidhart, defeating Rhythm and Blues, which is the Honky Tonk Man and Greg Valentine. Wonderful tag team.
Was it the Rhythm and Blues or the Rhythm and Snooze?
Well,
I mean, the problem with Hart here...
You got Jimmy Hart in there as well as the manager.
Colonel Jimmy Hart,
sort of a dream, a great name and a bit of a dream tag team, but it was just not that exciting a match.
I don't think Valentine was into the gimmick, actually.
No.
I think Valentine was just a bit... I think he was more old school WWF, wasn't he? And this was a really weird gimmick to give him, actually, which if they'd give it to someone with a lot more energy, I think that the tag team could have worked and been a really good heel tag team.
Yeah.
As it stands, it didn't.
No, it wasn't that great. I thought it was one of the best showings I've ever seen for Jim Neidhart. I thought he looked really, really strong the whole time. There's some nice quick tag action between the two in the Hart Foundation. Really, really solidly done. Nice moment for the shake, rattle and roll for the Honky Tonk Man. He got that in. That was really nice. And I feel like on the whole it was pretty solid.
It was an okay match.
It was probably one of the better ones on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, you can certainly see the Hart Foundation becoming a more dominant force.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the ending was interesting, and like I said, it goes back to the fact that because these guys are faces, it doesn't matter, if they bend the rules a little bit. So the referee tending to, he's checking on Greg Valentine. Neidhart takes advantage. Hands Bret Hart Jimmy's megaphone, cracks
Greg Valentine,
cracks Honky with it, and then pins him to win the match. So it goes back to that rule that seems to be prevalent now at this time, where it's okay if you're a face to break the rules.
It's okay if you're a face.
Yeah, pretty solid.
A bit dirty.
Pretty solid. On the whole, not wonderful, but not terrible in this context.
Agreed.
Okay, and then we've got moving on quickly to the next match.
Yep.
We've got Rick Rude, Bobby Heenan against the Ultimate Warrior.
Now you've got a lot of build up to this match.
Yeah.
A lot of build up, and it didn't really deliver, did it? It's so hard.
Yeah, there was some
Warrior.
with the time restrictions. It was difficult, but
the thing with Warrior is like how much can you watch of a match? Like, I get that he was energetic. I get that it was exciting to see. How much can you watch someone do clotheslines in a ring?
Yeah, there was a
lot of clotheslines, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it wasn't ideal. I think that on the whole, Rick Rude, to me personally, looks the strongest, in my opinion, as a performer. But obviously, in terms of athletic ability and stature, the Warrior.
I don't know if I'd say ability in terms of
what, Rude versus Warrior.
Yeah, but I don't think Warrior had much ability.
No, I know. I'm
just
talking
charisma,
about Rude.
I suppose.
I'm talking about Rude.
Oh, sorry. You're on about Rude.
Rude.
Right, fair enough.
I'm saying Rude dominates Warrior. There's some nice moments where the Warrior's bear hugs that he does here look massively lethal, and they're really good. There's a nice moment in the match where Warrior was so drained that he couldn't cover after the big Warrior splash.
Yep.
And they took it. They took it out on each other, which was good. There was a decent level of back and forth, but it wasn't what was built. It wasn't.
No. It wasn't what we wanted to see.
All it was built up to be.
Yeah.
And then obviously you have the cheat to win. A nice moment for Heenan, where he holds Warrior's foot down and he gets pinned by Rude, which was a nice heel moment.
Nice way to get the belt off Warrior.
Yeah,
and put it onto Rude.
Warrior freaks out, has a little Warrior freak out, and Heenan is legitimately injured.
Yeah.
From the press slam that Warrior does, which
troubled him for a long time afterwards. Again, there were several injuries. We've already covered the WrestleMania 2 injury that Heenan had. Heenan was hurting at the time, but damn it, he's still carried on, didn't he?
Oh yeah, man, he was good. I mean, for a man, like I say, managers aren't the best at taking bumps, but they only do it, not too often. Sparingly, but Heenan was a ring performer for a long time.
It was great.
And he had some good positive moments there.
Mm-hmm.
Moving forward, in terms of the matches, you got Bad News Brown and Jim Duggan coming up again.
What a snooze fest, man!
Yeah, those ho chants. Oh, do you
cartoony again? Massively cartoony.
Do the chant? You're like,
oh,
you're pretty much the Jim Duggan. You look exactly.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. So I'm a massive Bad News Brown fan, as most people will know. Through watching this podcast, I like what he's doing. But again, the whole face, it can be a heel rule here. It comes into play, so Duggan gets disqualified because he goes after, pretty early on, Brown with his 2 before.
Yeah.
The 2 before.
Yeah.
Bad News grabs the chair. Duggan goes for the 2 before. They have a little, little war. Duggan chases him round and gets disqualified.
Yeah.
That's pretty much that. There's not a lot. There wasn't a lot to it.
Well, Hacksaw did reverse the Ghetto Blaster.
There was.
And then elbows Bad News out the ring. I thought that was quite nice to see the reversal of the Ghetto Blaster. And then obviously Bad News brought the chair into the ring, and it played out as you said. Yeah, a bit pointless, wasn't it, man? I mean,
a lot of these matches, man. A lot of these matches are just like, what they're doing here. And the next one.
Let's talk about pointless matches.
Yes,
it's not. I mean,
tell me why it's not pointless. Go on.
Because I like Bobby Heenan, and I don't want to say out bad about him right now, but actually this whole angle was just terrible.
I respect Bobby Heenan, and I respect his ability as a performer. Well, in terms of his managerial ability particularly, but this, in terms of the context of the pay-per-view, no disrespect of course, meant. What was this?
Well, first of all, we had an interview with the Red Rooster, which so he's in his face rooster gimmick that was just god awful, man. I really don't like it. He's got his red hair.
Yep.
Comes on with his head movements. I mean, how's that cool? Who relates to that?
Well, some bird aficionados.
Maybe.
What do you call bird aficionados? What do you call people that watch birds?
Men.
No, you like bird enthusiasts.
Bird
enthusiasts.
I don't know.
No, that's not.
Horticulture.
No,
I think that's
plants.
like plants.
Plants. Oh man. It's been a long day.
Aviators.
Someone tell me what? Yeah, what?
Aviators.
If you're a bird, it's not. If you're a bird enthusiast, if you like to watch birds, it's really common as well. I've heard it so many times. I just don't know what it is right now.
Cool.
What's a bird enthusiast?
Cool.
Anyway,
so Red Rooster versus an injured Bobby Heenan with the Brooklyn Brawler. This is the first appearance of the Brooklyn Brawler, and as we normally do, we're going to talk a little bit about his history. So the Brooklyn Brawler, previously known as Steve Lombardi, had been in the WWF since 1983. Mm-hmm. Been there a long time.
He's only just been let go, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. He was the consummate jobber, yes. I suppose. He's always been on the lower end of the card and had just been repackaged as the Brooklyn Brawler after the Red Rooster had fallen out with Bobby Heenan, because Red Rooster had originally been a heel, a naughty chicken.
A naughty
chicken. He would often appear in dark matches before the event. So as we've been researching the podcast, there's been a lot of dark matches where it has been Steve Lombardi. And a dark match is a match that happens before the TV match. So it's for the audience to start getting into the matches, start watching stuff as they enter. Unlike the Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, what was the last pay-per-view that they was at? SummerSlam, was it? When it was Jeff and Matt Hardy versus and someone else versus The Miz.
Oh, yeah.
And the crowd,
Jason
it was empty.
Was it Jason
yeah, the Hardys and Jeff versus The Miz and the Miztourage. And there was 3 people in the crowd. It was the weirdest thing ever. And you could see the disappointment in the Hardys' face when they come out and they're like, yeah. And there's no one there.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that.
Oh man, it's weird. Check it out. I hated it. So after Matt Bourne left the WWF, there's a lot to talk about Lombardi, so I'll shorten it down a bit. But after Matt Bourne left the WWF in his doink role, Lombardi took over. So he was the second doink, the doink that I didn't like. I much prefer Matt Bourne's doink, but we'll get into that later on. So he worked with the WWE for 33 years, both as on-screen talent and backstage, including a match against Ryback in 2013 on Superstars. And in 2012, he teamed with The Miz and Alberto Del Rio against three-man band, getting a Boston Crab on Jinder Mahal to win. This bloke beat the current WWF champion, or WWE champion. Ultimate Jobber, and he appeared at WrestleMania 17 as well. So, Terry Taylor comes out. We have his theme song. God, he could have sold cornflakes, couldn't he?
Yeah, amazing.
And he should have signed an advertising deal with cornflakes.
You could sell cornflakes.
Can I?
Yeah.
Do you know a tag team? The ultimate tag team, the ultimate bird tag team. Terry Taylor, the Red Rooster, and the Gobbledygook.
The Gobbledygook.
It was just as bad a gimmick.
Oh god. No, at least the Red Rooster, you could show off his wrestling skills. The Gobbledygook was just a dude in a suit.
Yeah, but I mean, that as a tag team would have dominated.
Oh yeah.
Dominated the roost.
They would have ruled the roost.
Ruled the roost, yeah. Oh God, man. Yeah, that would have been bad. It probably would have happened. Yeah. Rooster quickly takes a...
They might have got roasted by certain teams, though.
Do you know who was originally supposed to play the Gobbledygooker?
Go on then.
We'll come to it in our episode.
Okay.
Mac Calloway.
Wow.
Yeah, man. It was originally going to be The Undertaker
Holy.
as the Gobbledygooker. There we go. A little bit of a preview of a future episode. Yeah.
Monkey.
So, Rooster quickly took advantage of Heenan for a quick 3 count, and then the Brooklyn Brawler comes in to attack the Rooster, setting up a feud between them. Pointless, really.
Probably Brooklyn Brawler's highlight, apart from his doink days.
Yeah, I don't know if his donk days were any good.
It
was the comedy donk days as opposed to the scary clown. So. Yeah. Interview with Elizabeth. So
this was nice.
Yeah, it was good. Elizabeth played a really interesting part in this. So it's sort of that case of whose side is she on? Is she, because we've seen her with Hogan, we've seen her with Savage, the Mega Power threesome that it was. And it was a nice heartfelt promo, I thought, as well. I enjoyed it, and she didn't want to see either man seriously injured. Very neutral. Enjoyed that, because then we got to see it actually playing the match, and that's what great wrestling is about.
Yeah.
Don't necessarily show us all in promo. Show us it in the ring, and show us them turns in the ring. Look at Bret Hart and Steve Austin. You know, that brilliant match where it's all in the ring.
Yeah.
What other great matches have great, nice turns in the ring?
There's some
like,
wicked
incredible
stuff.
Stories.
Yeah, there's some. I mean, like we'll put it to the audience, because I think that we can sit and speculate on it. But what are your favourite kind of feuds that have that similar kind of explosion and just
in the ring?
Yeah.
It's
and
great.
Pure. You can hear the pure vitriol. Like, there's the pure vitriol. You know what I mean? Between
vitriol.
There's so much hatred.
So much hatred, man.
You could see that clearly. You could
man.
see the hatred in them.
So next up, we have Macho Man versus Hulk Hogan.
This is the big one.
This is the big one. This is the build-up. And the crowd were clearly ready for this.
The mega powers explode.
Boom!
Boom!
When Macho entered, he was still getting cheers, though.
Yeah.
And I think it was completely justified that you could cheer for Macho, because, like, Hogan was a bit of a douche.
He was a big draw as well at the time.
He was, absolutely.
Massive draw across the board. Yeah.
He had his Macho Madness robe on. That looked absolutely wicked.
Yeah,
loved that.
That was amazing. One of the nice points in commentary was Jesse the Body's insistence on referring to Hulkamaniacs as the Pukesters.
Yeah,
which is great.
Yeah, it was
Pukemania.
Great.
Pukemania's running out, he said.
Yeah.
That's great.
So Elizabeth made her own entrance again to keep her neutral in the sort of feud. Obviously, was Macho classed as a boyfriend at the time, or was it just a manager?
Yeah, I think they were managers.
I think it was just managers. I mean, obviously they were married in real life.
Yeah, there was chemistry there, and people knew that there was chemistry and storyline chemistry between them. But I think they were, yeah. So
when she gets into the ring, Macho starts shouting at her straight away. So what I really loved about what Macho did in this match is because he did have legitimate cheers, people went there wanting Macho to win. What he did is turn that audience to make them hate him and be a heel. And so as soon as she gets in there, he starts shouting at her. And like I say, a real interesting reaction to Macho. Not a face, not a heel, just. And I really wish that they'd had the balls to sort of play Macho as the good guy in this, actually.
Yeah.
And not be afraid of the backlash from Hogan. But I get why it was. Yeah. So Savage exits the ring, getting more booze from the crowd anytime there's a lockup happening. Whenever there was a lockup, Hulk could get the advantage, and then Macho would get out of the ring again, and he continued to badmouth Elizabeth. It was good story wise. It was a bit harsh. I thought, seeing a bloke talk to a female in that way. It's not something you would necessarily want to see. And again,
it all added to the heel thing.
It did, absolutely. There was a bit actually where Gorilla had claimed that Macho had been slapping her around and stuff like that, which is pretty heavy. I mean, nothing compared to the Attitude Era.
Yeah, well, we were going to say you don't see that anymore. You saw a bit in the Attitude Era, but that was close to the bone.
Saying you don't see it anymore. There was a woman in the Mae Young Classic. Sorry to go off topic slightly, but her gimmick was that she'd got. It was I didn't really get it. Her gimmick was that she'd broke up with her husband, and she'd got away from an abusive relationship. And I get that that's something we should be talking about and stuff like that, but I don't necessarily want it in my wrestling. So when she entered the ring, like she'd go like, "I ain't got a ring on anymore." I don't really get that as a gimmick. I think it's too. I don't want.
As a gimmick, much. As a gimmick, I don't think you should use it as a gimmick, but it's a nice story. It's a nice story to use as background.
I just thought it was too sick.
As in a reference point, a couple of times for a couple of matches.
Absolutely.
But not as a full-on gimmick.
I get it in like a promo sense.
What they're going to have her start doing, waving the ring finger around before she does the finisher.
Yeah, exactly.
And call the finisher the husband hacker or something.
Yeah, I just... Like I say, I don't mind it in a promo sense, or I love hearing wrestlers' story. I don't want her to come into the ring and do that, which means that she got away from a and the commentators to be talking about that. Anyway, sorry, bit off topic. Back to Macho slapping around Elizabeth. Just pretty dark accusations, really, and I suppose that's why I brought that up, because I think for me it's a bit too dark. Macho gets out the ring and puts Elizabeth between him and the Hulk. Crowd booing. Again, great work by Savage to become a heel. Every advantage that Macho gets, Hogan switches around. I don't think Hogan give Macho enough to play with in this match, actually.
Yeah. It wasn't a great worker.
Hogan pulls Macho's tights heavily and throws him out the ring. Hogan gets a cut above his left eye early on. I didn't see the blade, but it looked like a blade job. It didn't look like it was cut the hard way. There was lots of back and forth, and it would have been nice to have seen Hogan in positions a lot faster to see Macho's moves. Macho, if you remember the Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, was so fast in the ring, and so able to. If his opponent, I imagine Macho would have had some great matches against Dibiase. Hogan wasn't always in place. Sometimes he was playing up to the crowds too much, while Savage it almost looked like he was 3 steps ahead of him at points, and that just goes to say how good Macho was in the ring for me. I'm not. Please don't think I'm just like, oh, Macho, Macho crazy.
You're a massive Macho fan.
I never was when I was younger. I didn't watch.
You've gone back and you've appreciated his work.
100%, yeah, 100%. There was a massive slam from Hogan as he throws Macho over the top rope. Macho could always jump over the top rope with ease. Elizabeth comes to Macho's aid, but Macho pushes her away. Great storytelling in the ring. Hogan goes to ram Macho into the steel post, but Elizabeth stops him. Macho gets the advantage and sends Hogan into it instead, so Elizabeth interfering this time. Macho starts manhandling Elizabeth and sends her into the back. So
that's heavy.
It was
a heavy moment.
It was, but we see that sort of heel Macho coming through again, and again he did a great job. And I suppose maybe that's why the gravity of that sort of situation helps the match, because it makes people go, yeah, he is actually a bad guy. Yeah. He is a real bad guy. Because this is not, I believe this is not long before he starts using Sherry as a manager, is it?
That's true, it happens.
So then we see a massive double axe handle off the top rope onto the floor. Macho, again, amazing in the ring, diving to the floor with ease. Macho takes his tape off to strangle Hulk. Heel moves. Macho's big elbow, and Hulk kicks out the pin. No, you don't kick out of an elbow.
And then you got that warrior. Do you remember the warrior match?
I love that match.
He kept doing it. And
it's like 5 times. It's like it kills the elbow, doesn't it? But man,
new contender for the best elbow in the business, though.
Go on.
Velveteen Dream.
Is he good?
Have you seen him?
I haven't been watching NXT recently.
Oh man, Velveteen Dream on NXT, potentially the best elbow I've seen since Macho Man.
Interesting.
Incredible.
Put him in a feud with Goldust immediately.
Oh, it's the same. It's pretty much the same gimmick.
Yeah, but I want to see them two in the ring
really
before.
Well.
I'd like Velveteen Dream to be Goldust's last.
Oh, that's a nice
call.
Man.
Yeah, I know, I'm great.
But it's like, he's with Aleister Black at the moment. It's funny because
is he? Right.
Aleister Black did the
he's
drop down.
He's not winning that, is he? Yeah.
He did the drop down thing to sit down, and Velveteen Dream drops to his knees.
Great.
Looks like he's going to go kiss him, and then.
Right. Nice.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah.
I like Velveteen Dream.
So back on the point. Elbow.
Yeah, so kicks out elbow. Gutted, man. And then Hogan gets his comeback very quickly after. Drops the. Did he do an elbow drop or a leg drop? I think it was a leg drop.
Yeah, it was a leg
drop. And he gets a win. Disappointing ending, I think, for me. I would have loved to have seen it continue with Savage, and if they were going the heel route with Savage, that's fine. Let's build up Savage as a heel. I understand why they didn't do it, because merchandise sales for Hogan were massive, and it was too much money for the company. Yeah,
but then Savage starts a very credible heel run.
Very credible heel run.
One of the highlights of his career, and Sherry becomes his manager, and then eventually leads to a massive, down the road, he becomes a face again, and everything's cool. But
and it's a big face turn, that one as well, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's when.
And it's a beautiful moment. Actually, that was.
Yeah, with Elizabeth and.
What did you think of the pay-per-view in total? I thought it was poor.
2 out of 5.
I don't know. I'm trying to debate. I can't remember what I gave WrestleMania 1. WrestleMania 2.
You was pretty.
I was pretty severe. I'm trying to think if I enjoyed this more.
I think it was a 2.
No, I think it was less than that. 2 is way too high. I think I'm going to go for a 1.
All right.
Favourite match?
I'm going to go with the 2. I would have put it on the Hart Foundation match maybe, but then of course I enjoyed everything Jake the Snake does, but then that was weak because of John Studd.
Yeah.
This man, the headline, is probably going to have to take it, but then of course, Hogan. I want us to start saying good things about Hulk Hogan, man, because we literally spend all the time.
Sorry.
We spend all our time ripping into Hogan, but it's such a weak performance.
But you know why that is? That's because he had such an impact on the wrestling, and we, as wrestling fans, we want to see more actual wrestling from him. That's the problem.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. I feel like a lot of the highlights with this were related to not in ring stuff. Like a Piper's Pit was a highlight. I enjoyed that.
I'd say it was a weak highlight.
That was a fun, maybe a little bit, but it was a fun moment.
Yeah.
The Brainbusters, again, that turn, the model Rick Martel, because of its significance, was great. The Macho Man promo where he's literally exploding. That was nice. That was nicely done. There was some nicely executed moments. There was a couple of complete WTF moments where you're wondering why John Studd's in that match, really, apart from to give him something to do and give him a prominent place. You're wondering, Sensational Sherry's promo was good. That was nice, set her up really well. The Rockin' Robin thing, I understand why she was, why she had to do it, but again, they could have. I mean, anybody. You could have done it better. I could have done it better. But yeah, so solid 2 out of 5 for me. It could have been a lot better.
Yeah, I'm saying 1. I think there's a couple of okay moments, but I don't think that makes a wrestling show whatsoever.
No.
And my match of the night would again have to go to Hogan Savage, because it felt like the only match where there was, apart from the 10 with the Brainbusters but then I don't know if it felt as exciting.
No.
Yeah. Hogan and thingy.
So 2 for me, 1 for you. Anybody else wanna have a go at the gay stars? You can tell us in the comments what stars you would give the pay-per-view and why. Please tell me what a bird enthusiast is, because I don't know. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. If you've enjoyed it, please hit that like button, subscribe to us for more content, and we hope to see you next time.
Yeah, keep it gay.